part of class too. And actually this is a lot more intimate, which is awesome. And then hopefully we can add assistance and all of that again, and we're going to have even better times together as the days wear on and we keep changing. All right, so let's get ready to start. Let's just get right to the yoga, because the yoga is always the thing that takes change and makes it work inside of us for whatever reason. So come onto your mat in child's pose. Toes together, knees open, arms forward, and your forehead down to your mat. It's good to have you with us, Anne. For everyone, take a deep breath in, and then just exhale through your mouth. Create your slow, steady, deep, rhythmic breath. There are mats right out there hanging, Alex. Just grab one. While you're breathing here, put your attention on your ribs and the feeling of breath, moving your ribs wider and relaxing your ribs more easily. And let your hands, your knees, your head just settle into your mat and be supported. Take one more deep breath in and a full breath out, or pick any spot you want. And then lift your body up into downward facing dog. When you get to your downward facing dog, bend and straighten your knees. So you might even want to walk your feet further back your mat, or set your hands up wider on your mat to give yourself a bigger foundation. Everyone together, take a deep breath in and a full breath out. One more time. Deep breath in, full breath out. Look forward and step up to the front of your mat. And when you get there, inhale, lift up halfway, and exhale, hang in ragdoll. While you're in this ragdoll, just pull the pit of your belly up into your spine. So from the side, your body looks like the shape of an upside down letter U. You can fold your arms and sway from side to side. While you're here and breathing, organize your feet so that you have a really solid foundation. You can try them wider, closer together, but line them up so they're parallel to one another and hip width distance. I know I always tend to turn my toes out, and I have to work to keep them parallel. Take another breath in. Then press your feet down into the mat. Come rolling up to standing, just one bone at a time. And inhale, sweep your arms overhead. Look up to the ceiling. Stretch up. Let the whole front of your body to your chin and baby finger stretch. And then hands into prayer position and pause. Set your gaze somewhere across the room. Just settle your eyes. Set an intention for the practice. 3 times we'll chant Om together. Take a deep breath in. Inhale, reach up, fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift up halfway, long flat back, low push up on your exhale. Upward facing dog, stretch the whole front of your body to your chin, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Inhale, press your hips back as you exhale. Keep that going. Breathe in, hips back toward your heels. Now one more time, breathe in. On the exhale, bend your knees, look forward, jump to the front of your mat. Halfway lift with the flat back, fold. Press your feet into the mat, reach to the ceiling, extended mountain pose, fold to the floor as you exhale. Halfway lift, low plank, nice flat back, Megan. Upward facing dog, breathe in, lift your chest, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Now while you're taking these breaths, concentrate on pressing your hands down into your mat. In particular, the thumb side of your hand to the pointer finger. Last breath here. Squeeze your hands to the mat, bend your knees, jump up to your hands. Halfway lift, fold. Press your feet down, reach up to the ceiling, stretch up and go back. Fold to the floor as you exhale. halfway lift, drop into the low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 3 breaths. 2 more. Last one, inhale. Exhale, bend your knees and look. Jump to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Now chair pose next. Put the weight into your heels and reach up. Take a few breaths here and sit back in your hips. Even make it so your toes are light on the mat, so you're really sitting back. Then pull the pit of your belly up into your body, so your whole body from hips to fingers is long and lean. 1 more breath, look up. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Halfway lift with your flat back. Chaturanga, the low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward and lunge. Warrior 1, reach up and look up to the ceiling. Hands down, low push-up. Upward facing dog, chest open. Downward facing dog, left foot forward and lunge. And press the back edge of your back foot into the mat as you reach. Hands to the floor, low push-up. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths in and out. 2 more, in and out. Last one, squeeze your fingers, bend your knees, and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Chair pose, weight in your heels and reach. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low push-up. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Right foot forward. Bend your knee a little more deeply this time and lift your belly. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now the left foot forward, lunge deep, stretch, wake up the whole right side of your body. Hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in, a deep breath out. 2 more, inhale and exhale. Last one, breathe in, bend your knees, look forward and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold, chair pose, squat and reach, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, drop into your low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot forward and lunge. Warrior 1, lunge deep, reach high, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, left side step, anchor your feet so that you can rise high, hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Work together. 2 more. Last time, inhale. Exhale, bend your knees and look. Jump. Halfway lift. Fold. 1 more time. Chair pose, sit down deep and reach. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank, just drop. Upward facing dog, shoulders open. Downward facing dog, right foot forward, lunge. Warrior 1, stretch up, go back. Hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, left side step. Deepest lunge yet, and then reach up out of your feet. Hands down, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now just take a breath in and let a sigh come out. Let's do that 1 more time, this time with the lip flutter. Raise your right leg into the air, bend your knee, heel to your hip, and flip it over. 2 feet to the floor, so press your left hand down into the mat and reach up to the ceiling with your right hand until you lift up out of your bottom shoulder. You got it. You can take 3 more breaths. Open up your shoulder. Last one. We won't go any further, just this sense of this. 1 more. Side plank. Bring your right hand to the mat, face the left side of your mat, and stack your body up for side plank. So even here, instead of your shoulder shrugging to your ear, you want to keep your shoulder hugged down into your torso. Keep it protected. Then look up, reach up, stretch up, float, low plank, all the way down. Upward facing dog, inhale. Downward facing dog. Take a breath. Stick your tongue out and sigh. One more time. Inhale, tongue out. Raise your left leg into the air. Bend your knee, heel to your hip, and flip it over. 2 feet on the floor. Get your feet settled. Then press your feet down. Press your right hand down. Roll your shoulder back. Then you can reach across the room. So press your right hand down. Oh, you got your shot. Shoulder down your back. See that? Put the shoulder in your back and reach. Side plank. Left hand to the mat. Face the long right side of your mat and stack your body up. This is such an incredible pose. So much strength when you make the length down the side of your body. So deepen the hollow, yes, Megan, of your left armpit. It makes it a little harder to hold, but keep making this length in the underbody. Look up, lift your chest up, press the floor. Good, nice. Chaturanga float, land with ease. Really good. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward for crescent lunge. So foot forward, stand on the ball of your back foot, arms in the air. When you're standing on the ball of your back foot, it's tempting to drop your heel in and let your heel hang back. So put all 5 toe knuckles on the floor and lunge forward so your foot stands straight up and down. And then from there, lift up and go back. That's perfect, Danielle. Lift the pit of your belly up to your chin and to your fingertips and go back. One more breath. Hands to prayer at the center of your chest and twist to the right. Anchor your left elbow to your right knee. Once your elbow's settled, you can open your arms, reach from floor to ceiling. And fire up your back leg. That's it. You can wrap your top arm around behind your back. You can reach under your front leg from the outside. This is a tough bind, and hold hands. Yeah, you'll have to fold forward a little bit and get it. And then once you get it, Danielle, open your chest. Keep opening your chest. One more here. Twist on your exhale, then crescent lunge. Reach right back up. Spot your eyes on one point. Get steady. Warrior 2, open up to the left side of your mat. I always need to take a little break here and organize myself. It's a lot of effort for me in crescent lunge and the twist. So take a long stride, Peter, if you can. How can you make your stride longer? Pick up your back heel and just swing it out behind you and lunge deeper. I find when I do that, I can feel the pose in my back leg where I couldn't before. You feel that, Sarah? Now tilt for extended side angle, but keep the action in your back leg too. Deep lunge. It seems like the pose is easier when you take yourself out of the lunge a little bit, but it's actually easier when you come way down low in the lunge. So if you can bring yourself deeper into your lunge by another 2 inches, do that. You can take the addition that Chuck's taking to just reach your arms overhead. One more breath. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog and rest. The practice has this amazing push and pull quality to it of effort and ease, and then the balancing of the two. Step your left foot forward for crescent lunge. Start in your foundation. Build the pose from your feet up. So we learned that means stacking your back foot on top of your toes. We learned that that takes you into the lunge of the front knee. Then lift up from your belly to your chin and go back. At home, Kathy and Erica and Ann, lift the pit of your belly up and maybe reach for the wall behind you. That's it. Straighten your elbows, take your gaze up, look back. Hands to prayer position and pause. Twist and bring your right elbow to your left knee. You can really just anchor it right there on your thigh. And then open your arms. Bottom arm down, top arm up. Take the half bind or the full bind. Once you get yourselves up, then bring the breath. Once you have the bind, I'm going to help you there. Grab your bind. Lift your hips up and let your chest open. There you go. You'll get the bind, the twist more. 2 more breaths. Let it open. Yes, Danielle. 1 more. Strong core. Let the pose open. Then crescent lunge. Straight back up. You got it. Warrior 2. Turn to the right. So point your front toes straight across the room and point your knee with those toes. Back foot, swing your heel out. And then sit down low into both of your legs. I always have to think to lift the pit of my belly. Then tilt for extended side angle. Usually when we go into the tilt, we come out of the lunge a little bit. Check and see if it's available to you to tilt an inch or 2 or to lunge an inch or 2 deeper, to bend your front knee a little more. Then once you get that with your back foot pressing down opposite of your arms, you can reach both arms overhead where you feel your fingers pulling one way, your foot pulling the opposite way, and breathe here. 3 breaths. Press the back edge of your foot down. Stay here. 2 more breaths. You got it. Breathe 1 more. Hands to the floor. Chaturanga. That was really good. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Breath in. 1 more breath in. Bend your knees on the exhale and look forward. Jump to your hands. Halfway lift. Fold. Chair twist. So squat back. Hands to prayer. Twist to the right. Bring your left elbow to your right knee. From the side view, both knees want to be equally bending, not one tilting more than the other. That'll just be a hip shift. We want to anchor the hips straight back. Lengthen the torso, then rotate. You can open your arms here. Now really breathe and bring the pose into your back left ribs. Just keep lengthening that side of your body. 2 more breaths. 1 more inhale. Stay here and rotate as you exhale. Reach up to chair pose. Forward fold. Feet at a comfortable distance. You pick it. Hook your big toes with your middle and index fingers. And then from there, lift up halfway and just stretch your wrists, elbows, and shoulders. Then fold deep down to the floor. Take a sigh. Let your body be from your hips to the crown of your head and then to the floor, just like a waterfall, cascading, allowing to come into your space, just relief and restoration. Shake your head and let it hang. That's it, Peter. Chair twist the other way. So let go of your toes, set your feet wide, set them narrow. It's up to you. But sit back, hands to prayer. Twist to the left now, right elbow to your left knee. Anchor it and start to turn. I always have to concentrate on the hip that I'm turning toward, that hip pulling back, instead of my body kind of curling and crowding around, chest coming to hip. Keep the whole side long. That's it, Jen. Open your arms if you'd like, half bind or full bind. While you hold this pose, imagine your hips are being pulled behind you, and then you're just breathing and lengthening your back right ribs. There you go. 3 breaths. Long back right ribs. Really good. 1 more. Chair pose. Forward fold. Open your feet hip width distance. Stand on your palms. So slide your hands under your feet from the front. I actually love this setup. I can see all of you so much better. Stand on your hands, toes to your wrists, and wiggle your toes. You can shake your head out. One thing in this forward fold to watch for in your body is to allow the back of your pelvis to broaden. I know that seems a little weird, but I never thought of that before yoga, that we're all the time toes turned out, many of us, and putting a compression into the low back. Just think here about allowing the back of your pelvis to have a little more space. One more breath here. We'll take crow pose. So at the front of your mat, set yourself up either hands down or seated. The seated version, being your legs in a diamond shape, your arms inside of your knees, pressing, maybe toes off the floor, or the whole same thing, hands down. Get yourself set up with whatever it'll be, and we're going to take 5 breaths here. Are you ready? Breathe strong 5 breaths. Every time you exhale, press the floor and lift your core. Breathe. On the last one, it's chest forward, legs back to chaturanga. You go. All the way back. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. 1 breath in, 1 breath out. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward, jump to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold. Come up to standing and sweep your arms overhead. Right side eagle pose. So right arm under the left, cross at the elbows, palms together, squat. Right leg high over your left thigh. Tuck your toes behind your calf muscle. And then find the pose, explore, discover the pose for you today. One of the ways that I like to do that is fingertips maybe a little higher or elbows lower until I just find that sweet spot across the back of my shoulders where my back feels tight. So I just stay right there and breathe and let just that tiny little motion of breathing expand the chest and upper back. 1 more breath here. Step out, sweep your arms overhead. Left side, left arm under, left leg over. At first, spine straight and tall, hips moving down to the ground, head to the top of the room, top of your space. And then when you get organized, you could even tilt at the hips. You'll want to keep your gaze set on one spot. Fold until you can bring your elbows to your knee. And then elbows press against the knee and the knee to the elbow. Breathe right here. Take 5 breaths here. That's it. Try to touch the point of your elbow to your knee if you can. That's it, Danielle. Now press them against each other. Finish your 5th breath, then bring yourself upright and step out of the pose and hug your right knee into your chest. You can continue holding your knee or hold your big toe or the outside of your foot and extend your knee and stand tall. A strap's a great tool here to hold around the ball of your right foot so you can extend and still stay connected. Eyes on one spot, leg extend in front of you or keep your knee bent. Breathe. While you're breathing, your pelvis, the 2 sides of your hips, let the lifted leg sides settle until the 2 sides are level, like they were each sitting on a bathroom scale and there was even weight. Then open your knee to the right, look and reach to the left. While you're standing here, you can just press down with your standing foot and rise up with the crown of your head. 1 more breath. Hug your knee into your chest. Airplane pose. So lift up tall and a reach back. And so the beauty of our practice is that you can continually practice starting again. If you've stopped your breath, you've lost your drishti, your focus, your gaze, your attention, you can always just pick it back up. And then lift your back leg up high and lift your chest up high like upward dog. That's it, Peter. 1 more breath up. Stay there, hands to prayer position. Half moon. Left fingertips to the blocker floor, right arm to the ceiling. So just tilt and lift your lifted leg. In fact, you might even think of the lifted leg like it's standing on a wall behind you. So you have that foot anchored in your imagination, and then you've got the foot on the floor. And when they press, your whole chest can open up. So let your chest open up. There you go. 2 more breaths. 2 more. That's it. Last one. 2 feet down and hang. Sway from side to side. And come back up to standing. Hug your left knee into your chest. If you need a strap, grab the strap. Hold on to your left foot and extend your left knee. Steady breath. Steady gaze. You may have the opportunity to make eye contact with somebody across the room and connect with them as you hold your gaze. Steady. Open your leg to the left, look and reach to the right. So holding your knee or holding your foot, practice shifting your gaze. Breathe right here. If you feel like you're losing your balance from your center, press out to your periphery. Bring your leg forward, hug your knee into your chest. Airplane pose, stretch back. Once you got your stretch back and your reach back, give yourself the lift in your chest. You got it right here. Press just gently with your hands and lift your chest. Yeah, right there. Whole spine long, whole back strong but easy. Hands to prayer position. Half moon, right hand down, left arm up. You want to keep your top leg really strong. It's the steering wheel, like the rudder on the boat. It's the steering of this pose. It's the steering of the transition from one balancing pose to the next balancing pose. Before you leave the pose, wake up your toes, your fingers, the tip of your nose, stretch all of it away from the center and fold. Sway from side to side. Shake out your feet. Standing bow or dancer's pose, come up to standing. Right arm behind you so your shoulders rolling out and your palms facing out. Bend your knee. Hold your ankle from the inside. Left arm in the air. Pick one spot across the room and set your gaze. Then with your knees together, drive your right knee straight back. Let it pull your shoulder, pull your arm, and breathe. And then if you get into it and it feels like your shoulder's stuck forward, it's really common to need to adjust your grip. Let me take your hand and spin. There, feel the difference in your shoulder. It's such a tricky grip. Take yourself to the edge of the pose for you. The edge of the pose. 5 breaths. If you start wiggling, you know to press away from your center. You hold the steadiness, right? You got it, Nana. Right there in your spot. Hold the breath. Last breath. Step out. Feet on the floor. Get your feet to the floor, your hands to the hips, your eyes on one point. Let your whole system get settled, get grounded. Left side, left arm behind you, so shoulder rolls back. Palm facing out. Bend your knee and hold your ankle. Yeah, just like that. You got it, Alex. Right arm in the air. And then start to kick. I know I have to pause about halfway and just take a sigh so I can let my shoulder go more. I find that it's still a little hitched forward, still a little bit hanging on. So with a sigh, you can let it go a little more. Just like we practiced letting it go when we were in the flip dog at the beginning of the class, that same stretch from thumb through shoulders to thumb applies here. Now kick and stretch, equal and opposite. Take yourself to your most extreme. 5 more breaths. Stay with it. You can do it. Stay with it. 3 more. 2 and 1. Feet on the floor. Hands on your hips. Breathe and let the pose go. Whether it went well, it didn't go well, whatever you might have thought of it, take a breath, take a sigh, and let that one go. Tree pose. Stand on your left foot. Bring the sole of your right foot to your left inner thigh. Hands to prayer position at the center of the chest. You can interlace your fingers and press your palms forward and take your arms overhead. You can feel the stretch that this puts on the whole outside of your forearm and outer wrist. You'll need that stretch when you get to the wheel pose to come. Once you've got the pose, continue lifting the pit of your belly and your gaze and lift your chest and look up and go back. You got it. Just breathe right here. Lift up and go back. There you go, Jen. Keep lifting the pit of your belly. Nice. 1 more breath. Look forward and step out of the pose. Really good. Switch sides. Right foot down, left foot up. So we did the interlaced hands. There's a finger that always kind of goes to the outside and dominates. For me, it's my right baby finger. So switch that. Put the non-dominant baby finger. Feel that difference? It's kind of weird. Press forward and reach up. Different forearm stretching now. You'll need them both later. Press down with your standing foot, all 4 corners of that foot. So big toe, little toe, two back corners of the heel, press them down, and from there lift up. Up and back. One more breath. And step out. Come to the front of your mat and sweep your arms overhead. Look up and reach up. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Halfway lift. Breathe in. Drop into your chaturanga. Step back, jump back. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Right side triangle pose. So step your right foot inside of your right hand. Turn your back foot flat. And from the four corners of your front foot, make length from your front heel to your front sitting pose. So draw them apart. Really anchor this big toe, and then start to open your body up. You'll feel this incredible stretch from your arch up the inside of your shin, your knee, and your inner thigh as you reach up. If you don't quite feel it, try a longer stride. Yeah, Danielle, try a little bit longer. Megan, you might be able to go a tiny bit longer now. There you go. If the pose feels kind of same, maybe dull, just try lengthening your base and see if you get access to something new. One more breath. Come on up to standing. So face the long left side of your mat, feet parallel to the short sides for a wide leg forward fold. Hands on your hips, lift your chest, and fold all the way down. Once you're folded, tippy-toe your fingertips away from you. You might lean your weight forward a little bit, but then take a breath, and as you exhale, ease the weight of your hips back to your heels. Breathe, and just become interested in, appreciate the stretch from your baby finger all the way up through your rib cage to the crease of your hip. While you're here, take a breath in and a sigh out. Then walk your hands back in toward your feet. Come up to standing. Turn to face the front of your mat for the standing single leg forward fold. So there's still length between your feet, width between your feet. Take your hands around behind and interlace your fingers, or bring your hands into prayer position at your back. Lift your chest up and forward fold. Go a little longer if you can, Amanda. Yeah. So you'll then, once you get to your extreme, whatever hand bind you've chosen, you'll have to really keep working the four corners of your front foot, dragging your right hip back to get deeper and deeper. So from the belly of the muscles of your hamstrings, you'll start moving out the stretch to the periphery of those muscles. Can you feel that in your own back of your front thigh? Twisting triangle. Left fingertips on the ground, right arm in the air as you start to twist. Keep pulling your right hip back. For some, you get so flexible it's difficult to find where you are. Keep the weight even in both of your feet. For everybody, we're lengthening and breathing into the back left ribs. 2 more breaths. Let your chest open. Yes, that's it, Alex. 1 more. Let your chest open, hands to the floor, step to downward facing dog, then bring your left foot forward to triangle. Left foot inside of your hand. So you know to go big, go bold, take a long stride. Back foot angled in. Start at the floor so you really get the forward fold. I even lift my toes up so I really feel these 2 front foot corners and press my sitting bone back. Just work with that. Work with the center of these muscles. And then begin to turn and reach and open up. Then see what you see and feel what you feel in the pose. You might check back into the foundation and really anchor the front foot's big toe down, right here in this knuckle. Breathe. Anchor the front foot's big toe down. Just really press that guy down. Stay here for 1 more breath in, 1 more breath out to open. Come up to standing. There's your card. Face the long left side of your mat for a wide leg forward fold. Behind your back, interlace your hands and lift your chest. Then fold all the way down and spill your hands overhead. Keep your breath flowing. You still have access to discovering the space between your ribs, both on the sides and on the back of your body while you're folded here and breathing. Keep making space in your upper back, between each and every rib, down the sides of your body. Then come back up to standing for the standing single leg forward fold. You can take your hands, two choices again, interlace them behind your back, or create prayer hands. Lift your chest up and forward fold. So right here's the spot to start working with a soft front knee and driving your left hip back, keeping the weight even in both of your feet. Really discover this really centered, balanced quality in your body. If you've got your prayer hands every now and then, you can wrap your shoulders behind you. That's it. And just squeeze your palms together. Really good. A little more weight in your front leg, just a little bit. And then squeeze. Twisting triangle, right hand to the block or floor. Stretch your torso long and start to open. That's it. Just start opening. From the floor through your shoulders to your thumb reaching up, stretch. And open your shoulders. One more inhale. One more exhale. Hands to the floor. Downward facing dog. Good job. Come to a high plank and lower all the way down to your belly on the mat. Locust pose. Keep your toes turned under the way you did when you were lowering down in the push-up. Strong, active legs. And then arms behind you. Roll your shoulders back and just lift a little bit. Get the sense of your feet pressing back, your chest and the crown of your head pressing forward. Sometimes I find I even have to wiggle my chest a little more forward to take up the space. And then while you're here and breathing, just activate your abdominal muscles. Gather them up into your body so you're even longer and leaner. One more breath. And come back down. You can turn your cheek to the side, wave your feet from side to side and take a rest. And then floor bow pose next. Bend your knees, reach back and grab both of your ankles, so one hand to one ankle. Flex your feet. Helpful to hold on the shin near the ankle. Roll your shoulders back. Sometimes I shake out my head so I can let go of the holding in my shoulders. Then drive your shins back toward the back of your mat. Let your shins driving back drag you up into the pose. And then your big toes, press them up to the ceiling. Every now and then, maybe take a sigh and let go of holding on. That's it, Jen. That's it, Alex. Kick up and drive back. And now let the pose be easy. 5 more breaths. Work together with your breathing. 2 more. That's it, Danielle. Kick up, look up for the last breath. Shoulders roll back and relax back down. Hands on the floor by your bottom rib and set your hands as wide as your mat. Set your shoulders on your back. So roll them to your ears and to the back of your body. Keep them pinned there. Then upward facing dog with your shoulders on your back. Upward facing dog. Nice, Megan, that was awesome. Good. Lots of great shoulders. Keep them on your back. See if you can keep them. Go to downward facing dog. Yes. Yes. Take a breath. Camel pose. Kneel down and turn your toes under like they are for chaturanga. And then press your knees into the floor and lift the pit of your belly. So from your knees pressing all the way up to your armpits, your body's long and lean. You can put your hands on your hips. Really lift the pit of your belly. Lift your chest to the ceiling and get the equal and opposite of knees down and chest up. Once you have the equal and opposite, either you'll choose to stay here, or maybe it's best for you to reach now for your heels. We still want the equal and opposite action occurring. So press your knees down and lift your chest up. Breathe here. Shoulders back, chest up. The way that you'll come out of this pose is on your next inhale is to lift up out of the pose. Set your gaze, get steady. Hands to the floor, downward facing dog. In your downward dog, take a breath and just clear your space energetically. Take a sigh, empty, blank slate, like you're just starting the practice, but with this body that you've worked and warmed up. Then jump through your hands, sit down, and roll onto your back. Once you're on your back, let's take bridge pose. You can bend your knees, ankles on the floor underneath of your knees. Set your feet up hip-width distance. And make them parallel if you can. There might be a slight turnout, but see if you can make them parallel, and you can try them as wide as your mat. Then press down and lift up. Feet down, hips up. You can rock from side to side in your shoulders until you can tuck them behind you. Then interlace your hands and press your elbows straight. Now, while you're here in this bridge pose, just breathe and invite in, experience this quality of just expanding your chest and upper back. You can bring your right knee far into your chest, as far as it will go. Lift it off the floor, knee into your chest, then stretch your toes up to the ceiling. Look to the ceiling and just try to touch a point that you see with your big toe. Knee into your chest, foot on the floor. We'll do the other side. Left knee into your chest as far as it will go. Then straighten your knee and look to the ceiling and reach up and try to touch the ceiling with your big toe. Knee into your chest, foot on the floor, and just bring your whole body down. You can move your knees from side to side. It'll feel hopefully really good in your body. Okay, let's set up the next one. Let's set it up where your feet are wide this time for sure, as wide as your mat. Come up into the bridge. Once you get up into the bridge, tuck your shoulders with this wide setup. Come up into the bridge, tuck your shoulders. Fingertips to the ceiling, flex your wrists, put your hands on the floor, oddly deep under your shoulders, but wide as your mat. Push onto the top of your head and just double check how wide you have your hands. You can maybe set them wider. Shoulders, you can roll them out a little bit, let your upper back relax, then press your hands and feet down and rise up. See if you can straighten your arms. All the way up with your wide hands. 5 breaths. That's it. Keep breathing. 4 breaths. 3, 2, tuck your chin and come down. Knees side to side. You can also stand up and drop back. Now, next one. Good, Danielle. Perfect. Set yourselves up. Hands, feet. Let yourself get grounded if you're standing and dropping. And then if you're moving up from the floor, set your body wide. Get onto the top of your head and set your hands wide. Press down, straighten your arms, rise up. When you go for the really wide hand set, you have this interesting opportunity to let your shoulders be movable, malleable, upper back less fixed and frozen. Tuck your chin and come on down, or stand up out of the pose. Take a breath and a sigh. Let's set up the next one. Hands, feet on the floor. I don't know about you, but oftentimes as we go into the third and the fourth one, my mind is like, I did enough. I don't need to do more. And yet my body's finally just getting ready for it. Charles, next time, try to set your hands wider. Chuck, set your hands wider if you can next time. Jen, go wide and push into your thumbs like they're the big toe of your hand. The meat of your thumb, like the big toe of your hand. Press it down. That's it. Yes, let your shoulders be easy. And come on down. Knees side to side. We're going to take one more. Knees side to side. Set up. Press down. Rise up. Here's our last one. Really wide hands. Once you get up here, bend your right knee the whole way into your chest as far as it will come. And then press your toes up to the ceiling. Yep, like you're pushing that button. Then bend your knee again, foot on the floor. Left side, first knee in as far as it goes, then toes to the ceiling. So knee way in, then toes up. Foot on the floor, come back down. Supta Baddha Konasana. So the soles of your feet together. Knees out wide. Take a breath. This is one of those moments in the practice where we pause and just feel the results of what you've created. Feel what you feel, experience what you're experiencing. A back bend practice can be such an exhilarating and emotional practice, but it really takes letting everything going and following your body that day. Dead bug pose. Bring your knees together, hold the outer edges of your feet, pull your knees back to your shoulders. So if that's a little tough to reach your feet, you could always hold behind your thighs. We're looking to keep the lower back, the pelvis on the floor, but then be able to rock from side to side and give a little bit of a massage to the lower back. So however it shows up for you and your body today, that's the way to take it. And then legs straight up in the air and flex your feet so you're looking at your big toes. Take a breath in and curl up and try to touch your toes. Consider this the low point of our exercise now. Inhale. Every time you exhale, blow out through your mouth and come a little closer to your toes and touch them. Here we go. Blow out for 10, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower your right leg so it hovers and not turned out. So see if you can look at your own right toes and have them pointing straight up and down rather than turned out. If this hurts your lower back, you can bend your knee or put your toes on the floor. And then you'll take your right hand over to your left baby toes. And up you'll go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Can you touch that toe? 1. Switch. 10, 9, 8, toes to the ceiling. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees and rock back and forth, all the way up to boat pose. Boat pose can be with toes on the floor or lifted, shins parallel, or straight legs. We're going to do high boats and low boats. When you do these, both, the action's to pull your belly in so that you're not flopping over a really stiff lower back. So try it maybe with your knees soft at first. Take a breath in, pull your belly back, go to low boat. Take a breath in, pull your belly back, come to high boat, and you won't have to even do a lot of jerking. So go ahead, low boat. Stay here, inhale, pull your belly back, high boat. That's it. Breath in, exhale, go low, belly back. Breath in, exhale, come high. One more time, breath in, belly back, low. Breath in, high, hug your knees, rock 3 times. Through to downward facing dog, right side pigeon pose. All the way through to downward facing dog. For pigeon pose, knee at your right wrist and in front of your right hip, different from it being way over there to the side. Then walk your left foot back, a block or something under your right hip so that from the bird's eye view your hips are parallel, and forward fold all the way down. I can see Vipa working with her foot. That's it. Keep your foot active. That's exactly it. A lot of variations available. We're all looking to feel our hip opening, but nothing in the right knee. Any extra sensation in the right knee means it's time for an adjustment to the alignment, probably in the front leg, that the heel of your right foot comes in closer to your torso rather than away. Feeling nothing? Then you move it away. Take one more breath here. Then hands to the floor, downward facing dog, left side. Left leg forward. You square your shin. We have had so much change in so many realms over the past nearly 2 years. But one of the realms in our world of yoga, I used to say, oh my gosh, who knew there were so many spreadsheets in yoga? Now it's who knew there was so much technology in yoga. But one thing that we didn't have, and have again, is that your teachers send you a message after class. Used to be a little different. Now they send it to the whole class every time. So we've only just been doing it again for about a week. But when you do see those messages, it does come from your teacher that day. And you can write back to your teacher. So if you have a question about the class, something the teacher instructed, something about your yoga practice, You can just write right back to that exact teacher. So I'll send you something later today. You can write right back or just read it and enjoy it or pass right over it. It's up to you. But it's an amazing way to hear from you. Whether you're at home and you find that you can't see the teacher and what they're doing, or you're here and there's something about your practice you just don't understand, should you have a block under your hip, you can always ask the teacher that way. Okay, hands to the floor. Sit on your left hip, swing your right leg around. Let's take double pigeon. Double pigeon is one of those that just looks so many different ways in so many spots. Why don't I give you a variation, actually? So this, normally we stack our shins up like they're fire logs, just stacked one on top of the other, and we take all the different variations. So one variation you can take, you are going to have an opportunity to try it lying down or sitting up, is to cross your legs all the way at your knees. I don't like that one, Alex. And then here's the variation. So this is a cow face arrangement of your legs. You can take it as a steer, you know, like the Texas Aggies. And so you have this parallel to the front of the mat, feet like this. Or this would be the cow back here. Now it's challenging to sit both hips down. And then sometimes you're looking around the room and you're like, that's awesome variation, Alex. That's perfect. You could even sit a block right under here for support. Or you can take it on your back. You can lie on your back and hold on to the pose here. You can feel that really intensely in your hips. It's kind of a good and weird feeling. More flex. You can try it on your back. More flexible, you're probably taking the steer, sitting down. And flexible is different parts of your body. You might have back flexibility, but not hip flexibility or hamstring flexibility. But this is an awesome pose. So you might find you're lightened the load on your right hip. So some of your work will be to just work to sit it down. Yep, I like the self-assist. So the self-assist is a hook of your hand, thumb in the crease, and to roll your hip out. And just work to let there be more weight in your right hip. Still in your head being like, oh, is that all you got? Come on, let's have something a little more challenging. Of course, you can always fold forward. And breathe. The reason for variations is every one of us, every practice can customize our practice based on what we're discovering in our own body from our body's feedback. You may find that you don't feel it so much in the original version where we're just double pigeon, but now as we do these leg variations, there might be something new you're getting out of it. It's one of my favorite parts about the practice in our style of yoga. I love when you look across a room and you can see all different abilities practicing together, just what fits in their body. Pre-pandemic, I remember Sunday mornings when the whole room would be packed. I can remember just looking back to the left-hand corner and seeing broken leg, broken knee, like all kinds of injured people in different stages of recovery, but still practicing. Okay, lean back and just switch your legs and put them back down. So once you get your legs situated, it could be helpful to put your hands on the floor, lift your hips up, and move both of your hips back. It'll help just get more. So now I not only have it in my hip, I have it down my whole IT band on my left side. So set up the pose that's best for your body on this side today. And a block under these knees could work, or a forward fold might help, but this is giving me so much stretch down my IT. And then I can see you're like, yeah, that's a lot. That's it, Jen. I see you're settling the left hip down. So much creativity. I think creativity is like a basic human need. And to be freed up, to be creative, that's what it takes the practice to get access to. Freed up from the way it should be, the way they're doing it, the way that you think the teacher's telling you, to putting all that information together, the information from your own body, and applying what's right for you right now. All right, let's take Alex's choice here. Come on up. We're going to take your suggestion. We'll take this butterfly pose. Instead of the seated wide leg forward fold, soles of your feet together, knees wide, and you may need to walk your hips out behind you because you might find you're sitting here kind of like you've got the tightest pair of jeans on in the world. Move your hips back. And then you can hold your feet and peel them open and put your elbows out on your shins, or back on your thighs. I find I can get some nice leverage holding under my ankles and pressing into my thighs. Just don't, that's it. Don't want to press onto your knees. Always knees feel good in hip openers, and then maybe there's a lean forward. Now, when we fold forward, it's from the sitting bones to the crown of the head, one long line hinging. It's really different from when we take a ragdoll shape. So right now we're using our forward fold shape, long flat back. Feel that in your hips? It's like good and bad all at the same time. All of it is. While you're here, take a breath and a sigh from time to time. Couple more breaths. Okay, roll onto your back, legs straight up in the air. Flat on your back, legs straight up in the air. We don't always give ourselves the opportunity just to take waterfall pose. So on your flat back, legs straight up in the air. Every now and then even hear a sigh and let the weight of your body settle down. As some of the luxuries return that we once enjoyed and then missed for so long, you get your cold eye towels. I think most of you have had that experience again. As the eye towel comes around your way, you're welcome to place it over your eyes right here. And then hug your knees into your chest. A simple twist, you can drop your legs to the right and look to the left. Take a deep breath in and a sigh. Then switch sides. A deep breath in and a sigh. And then back to the center, hug your knees for Shavasana. You got your cold eye towel. You can stretch your legs out long and wide, arms wide, palms facing up to the ceiling. Once you get your body organized, take a deep breath in and exhale. Though many of us see change as something to resist or something to be concerned about, in fact, it's change that always gives us our new frontier, our new possibility. Pose by pose, breath by breath, you're making, creating, moving with change. Until you get to lie still here at the end of the practice and be with the results on the other side of the effort, a space where there's access to greater freedom and ease. If nothing else, hopefully what this experience offers you is when you face a change and you have resistance to it, a little bit of faith, curiosity, fascination for what could be on the other side. Take a deep breath in and exhale. Another deep breath in, and this time squeeze your fingers and toes and just mark this space. Exhale and squeeze. Then hug your knees into your chest, roll to your side, and bring yourself up into a sitting position. Erica and Kathy and Anne, sit tall. Inhale and sweep your arms overhead. Reach up, look up, and exhale, bring your hands into prayer position at the center of your chest. And really take a second here, pause, and feel what you feel right now in your own being. And let an intention choose you. Set an intention for the rest of your day. And then 3 more times we'll chant Om together. Take a deep breath in. Bring your thumb knuckles to the center of your forehead. Inhale and exhale through your mouth. Namaste. Thank you all for being willing to do new things in new ways. I actually kind of love how intimate, and I get to see you all so up close. It's kind of fun, and it's really nice being back on this side of the room. So thank you for joining. Thank you, Anne and Erica and Kathy. We'll see you next time, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. Yeah. Good work.